Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. On today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary, we're going to do something a little bit different. Today, instead of talking about trading, I'm going to give you recipes for how to make the best cookies, cakes, and pies. April Fools. Hey, everybody, it's our April Fool's Day edition. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. It is Monday morning. We are up a lot in the S&P this morning. We're right up against an area of supply, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So I know a number of you were in our live trading room last night, and we talked about this little 15-minute level. And what I was talking about last night during the live trading room is that I wasn't comfortable getting short at this 15-minute level during the Globex session. Now, we did actually make a nice little hit here and come down. We dropped about 5 or 6 points out of that little level. We're still up 20-something points. So you may have gotten a little trade from it in the overnights, but if you did get a little trade from it in the overnights, I would be very cautious of that position as we are really strong on the upward momentum. I felt like it wasn't a session that I would have taken in the overnight hours just because I wasn't there to be able to watch it and monitor it. So if we base a little bit in here, though, it sets up for a really nice breakout to the upside. So be aware that if we do get some basing in here, then we could bust out above that high, and price could lead us up to this 2881 area in the Nasdaq or in the S&P. So that's a good little play right in there. In the Nasdaq, we actually didn't make it all the way up to that same area of supply. The Nasdaq supply area is actually a bit better. So what's interesting is that the Nasdaq area sets up as a very nice bull trap. So just be aware that we have to get good basing before this breakout if it's going to work. But there's a chance that we won't get above there because the Nasdaq bull trap area, which actually is a more clean level, is in play. So be aware of that bull trap area. Now, I'm not saying that we should fade a gap up because sometimes you're going to get a little bit more risk, but it's up to you on how you want to play that. Look for that to be, if you do take that, make sure that you keep that stop pretty tight. And one of the things that we talked about in the live trade room last night was the fact that you don't have to take it in the NQ futures. If you like the setup but aren't willing to take all the risk, use the options, use the QQQ options, use the NDX options, whatever it is that will still allow you to play the position with minimal risk. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. Crude oil. In crude oil last night, we had looked at a level way up here for a potential reversal, and it's just continuing to march higher. On a 15-minute chart, there's a couple of really nice levels down in here, and we didn't retest any of those areas. Now, our 2 a.m. area, we just came back in and retested that demand, and we're starting to get a little bit of a pop out of it. So I'm going to put this level in as a potential reversal point as well. Didn't have this one in last night, but I think this one could work out as a potential reversal point as well. And let me make sure that that's on the 15-minute picture. Looking at crude. Gold. So in gold, we did talk about this level and said this one would be one that might be worth taking in the Globex session. We came back up, we hit the level, and now we're starting to move out of it. So if you did get in that one, remember your 6-candle rule. If we stay sideways for too long, move your stop to break even, but that one is working out from last night's level. If you missed it, it still could be a decent little play. In the bonds, so in the ZN level, so we looked at this little level of supply last night, came really close to it, unable to get filled, don't like the basing in front of it anymore, so now it becomes a confirmation entry. Because we based in front of the level, it now becomes a confirmation entry if price does indeed enter that area. There's plenty of room for price, by the way, to make it all the way down to some of these levels, so you could theoretically even take a breakdown below one of those areas. In the Aussie, So close, yet so far away. We just missed our entry in the Aussie, and we're starting to get a little bit of a move away from that. I'm not going to add anything to that Aussie position. I'm not going to change it. I will, however, I say I'm not going to change it. I am going to change it. I'm going to shrink it. And I'm going to take it just up to the extremes now instead of the bottom part of the area. Just take it to the extremes instead of the bottom part of the area since we did come so close to that level. In the euro, the euro, we came close to getting filled on this level a couple of times, and we're still in between for potential breakdown off of this area. You know, when I look at the euro on a 4-hour, that breakdown looks to be even cleaner. So I like the breakdown below here, and we'll see what happens with that euro. Canadian is still in between some wide levels as well. So for those of you that were on last night's live trading room, we talked a lot about both of those levels. Go back and review the recording of that in case you missed it. But both of these levels were still kind of in between some of those areas. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. In the Great British Pound, now I talked about if we get a breakout out of this triangle, that you've definitely got a potential for price to get above this supply zone. And that's exactly what happened. So we got a breakout out of the triangle. Price hit the supply zone. And remember, we had talked about the measured move aspect of this triangle pattern. And a measured move says that prices will move from the second touch. Remember, this is touch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's after the 5th touch that you can do this. So typically the measured move after the breakout is from that triangle pattern out is that distance. Well, that puts us right about at this area of resistance, which is kind of where we are right now. So the level, I'm not surprised that the supply level broke through. And we talked about that. If it goes to the upside, then anticipate it breaking through. However, this could still act as a demand on a pullback. So I'm going to keep this area in play in case this old supply acts as a new area of demand because there's enough algorithms that add orders to the queue in there. And then the Japanese yen, we had gapped down and talked about a potential trade on a gap fill back to the upside. So price is coming back into this region. Let's see if we get a short entry on there. This might be better as a confirmation entry or even a candle-to-candle style. But I think this seems to work for a good entry type. A good one also could be, I don't have it highlighted, but this area up above as well is a good setup for the Japanese yen. Nat gas or copper, we talked about this breakout not being a valid breakout due to the fact that there was no basing in front of it, and now we're actually coming down as a potential gap fill area. So when I look at copper, we've got the gap fill area in here, but I've also got a level below the gap fill area that I need to kind of consider. So if you want to try to fade the gap, I'd look at this whole region here. And then it might be best to do a candle-to-candle style on there. Notice we've gotten lower highs on every candlestick on the way down. So it could be a good candle-to-candle style when price comes back down into that range in HG. And then in Nat Gas, we identified our level up here, and we have not yet reached it going forward. So enjoy your day. Hopefully you guys have some trades set up and lined up. Remember, the market is fairly bullish this morning. It looks like we're up about 20 points in the S&P, and typically it's tough to trade against that big picture direction. So just be aware of a potential for price to continue to move higher, but a little note of caution in the fact that we have a very picture-perfect bull trap. Now, we call it a bull trap, by the way, because a lot of breakout traders may take it as an opportunity to get long on a breakout just above the Globex high. If price just shoots above that Globex high without any basing, then that is actually not a good sign. That's a chance that the reversal might work a bit better. So just keeping both of those in mind when looking at your equity position. So if you guys have any questions, send us an email, support@tradersarmy.com. We have a location, by the way, for our Sunday meetup, Wednesday, New York City meetup group. We're going to be in Lower Manhattan. It looks like we're going to be in Lower Manhattan, close to the Bath train. So anybody coming in from New Jersey, we're going to be quite literally off the World Trade Center Path train what's it called? World Trade Center Path Train stop. So for those of you that are interested in there, it's a little place called the Irish American Pub. And it's super easy. So hopefully you guys will be able to make it for that on Wednesday evening. If you're in the New York area, New York, New Jersey, feel free to register. We have I'll leave it in the comment section below where you guys can register for it. So all right, buddy, I'll talk to you soon. I hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you later.